Hey everybody, so for today's video we're going to go over a very special shotgun that is available only for this Frost Night season, the Popshot. Now, this shotgun is an incredible weapon to use, especially when you have the right hero loadout. As you can see with this small swarm, all I need is a few shots and they are gone, some even only needing just one hit. And you can even see here that this blaster only needed a few hits to take it down. But I know you want to see how this build is made, so let's get to it. Starting off with our hero loadout, we are going to take a look at our commander slot and see we have Buckshot Raptor as our commander. He comes with the commander perk Critical Blast, which increases shotgun critical damage by 225%. That is a huge damage boost by a large margin. But the only downside is that he only buffs critical damage, not base damage, meaning we need to boost our chances to crit when firing at an enemy. That is why we are going to be using the team perk, Totally Rocking Out. This activates Rock and Rift, which increases our crit rating by 160% and heals us 73.75 base health. To add on to that, we need to activate Rocking Rift as much as possible, so we're going to add sub wafers to our support, which gives us a 32% chance to farm wafers when harvesting metal, and eating a wafer activates Rocking Rift. We're also going to use Fumble in case we don't have enough wafers or we aren't able to eat one during a fight. Killing a husk causes them to fumble a football, and if we run over the football, it grants us Rocking Rift and heals us. Continuing on, we also want to boost our base damage to our shotgun, so we're adding Shell Shock, which increases our shotgun base damage by 17%. Mind you, this is base damage, not crit damage, and even then, this is a very small boost. Keeping up with the high damage, we are also including Locked and Reloaded, which after reloading our shotgun, which we're going to be doing a lot of, increases weapon damage by 15% for 5 seconds. And lastly, we're going to use Saurian Might as an added bonus, since every second adds 3% of our health as damage to our ranged weapon. All in all, this is a high damage build. For our weapon, we are using the Popshot. As I mentioned before, you are able to get this weapon now since it is a Frost Night season, and this is available from the Winterfest llamas in the llama shop in Save the World. For the perks on this weapon, we're going to focus on a high crit damage since we have Buckshot Raptor, who increases crit damage by 225%. But we also want to make sure we empty out every single shot on this shotgun, so we're going to increase magazine size. Now, normally people would choose high damage instead of magazine size, but we're only focusing on the crit damage, not base damage. As for the element, since it's Winter Mutant Storm season, all husks are going to be water-based, meaning we will do double damage if our shotgun has a nature element to it. But I would suggest getting multiple copies of this gun with all different elements. Next on the list is crit rating, and even though we already got that high 225 boost from Buckshot, a higher crit rating means a higher chance to get the highest damage from this shotgun. And fire rate is for the next perk, mostly because we want to do as much DPS as possible on any big husks. We want to have the smashers disappear and the blasters turn to dust as we hold down the trigger. Plus, we already have enough crit ratings, and impact doesn't help much. What would help a bit is reload speed, but even then, it's not that fast. For our sixth and last perk, I changed it to Affliction for 6 seconds. Originally, it was getting 5 headshots will increase weapon damage by 30%, but let's be honest here. Nothing is surviving the first 2 shots of this weapon. And we could have done Snared for 5 seconds after critting, but little known fact, when we cause Affliction to the husks, that Affliction damage also has a chance to crit, meaning all we need to do is fire once, leave the husk alone, and the Affliction will do the rest. In my opinion, Affliction on most weapons is the safest way to go since it does incredible damage on its own. But that's it for our build right now. Let's see how this baby plays out. As you can see here, I'm being surrounded by husks, so I pop a wafer, and then boom! That blaster is gone in one shot. That is why I don't want to use the 5 headshot 6th perk, because most of our enemies aren't even going to survive the first shot. You can also see me healing a little, that was from my adrenaline rush, but it's also being helped by the wafer I ate, which activates Totally Rocking Out and heals me quite a bit actually. As you can see, I'm running over to this football, which activates Totally Rocking Out, and again, I just delete the blaster with 2 shots. So not only do I heal from Totally Rocking Out, but I get my crit damage boost as well, just by grabbing a football or eating a wafer. Over here, you can see me placing some ceiling traps to help keep the objectives safe, but also so that I can have a better chance at killing a husk and making them drop a fumble. If you want as well, you could replace Fumble with Battle Beat, where killing 10 husks in 8 seconds activates Totally Rocking Out as well. Maybe that would have been a better support hero to add instead of Fumble, but you would need to place a lot of traps to get that many kills, and we only focus on our shotgun, and it's not going to kill 10 husks in 8 seconds. So here we are starting the mission, and as you can see, I just shoot from a distance, and the Affliction is doing most of the damage to the smaller husks. I get behind cover, I go ahead and pop a wafer, and boom! Only took 3 shots for the blaster to disappear. This build is a very powerful one, especially towards the larger threats. For swarms or hordes of husks, it does fall off because of the spread, and the distance for the damage to take effect is very low as well, meaning you need to get up close and personal to cause any kind of damage to the swarms. So there in the distance I found a smasher, and sadly my teammate did do a good chunk of damage using his plasmatic discharger, but I was able to do some incredible damage using the Popshot as well. Sadly I don't really have a team to play with, so I join random games to get these clips. Still, I sometimes find amazing players in Save the World who help with missions and get the job done incredibly well. So here I want to point out a flaw in this weapon, and that is the reload speed. It takes up to 5 seconds to fully reload this shotgun, and it is infuriating. I would have used the reload speed perk instead of the fire rate perk, but even then the reload speed isn't as fast as one would think with the perk. It would have cut it down to probably 4 seconds at the least. And here we have the beast that we've been waiting for, the mini-boss. Now, sadly, it is a nature element, meaning we only do maybe half the damage that we can. If it was a water-based mini-boss, our shotgun alone would have probably been enough. Probably 2 or 3 reloads at the most. But sadly, we did need help from our teammates to take it down. Still, this is why you should have multiple copies of this great weapon, so that you can have the element you need. A fire element Popshot would have been great to take care of that mini-boss. And see, this is what I mean right here. We got a water-based smasher, and as soon as I pop a wafer, it took less than the full clip to make it disappear. Even this physical smasher, all I need to do is pop a wafer right now, empty out the clip, and it is gone. This shotgun and hero build is incredibly powerful for those big guys if the circumstances are perfect. Now, remember what I said about that reload speed being too slow? Well, there's a workaround for that. Here we have Chaos Agent with his perk Quick Fingers. Anytime you use an ability, it'll automatically reload the weapon you are holding. So for example, if you throw a grenade or use your Warcry ability, it'll reload your weapon instantly. No waiting for those 5 seconds to reload your shotgun. Just throw a grenade and you are good to go. Also, I just wanted to add this little clip here. If you are having a hard time farming wafers to use Totally Rocking Out, if you have an Ear Splitter Spear, the heavy attack lets you farm metal like crazy, meaning you can get so many more wafers in just a short amount of time. The Ear Splitter is one of my most favorite farming weapons, especially if you are running low on metal, brick, or wood. And here we find a smasher in the wild. I pop a wafer, I use my Warcry, I miss a few shots like the idiot I am, but still, it goes down so easily. Like I said before, this build is amazing for taking out some of the more harder to kill enemies like smashers or blasters or anything that has a high health bar. And here we are starting another mission. I pop a wafer and do some damage, but I also want to show you that the tar traps we used are perfect for keeping smashers in place. If you saw, the smasher was in its charging phase and it suddenly stopped due to the tar pit trap. Almost everyone I see uses ice traps to keep husks frozen in place, but ice traps won't work on a smasher from charging. It'll just bulldoze right over the ice traps and break your walls easily. Now, over here, I hear another smasher appearing, I pop a wafer, and again, it is just completely gone. Mind you, that smasher was a physical element, which is why, again, I say, you need to have multiple copies of this weapon. Only reason I don't is because I need core reperk to change the 6 perk to Affliction instead of the 5 headshot one that a lot of my other copies have. But that's about it for this showcase. As I said before, this is an incredibly strong weapon to use, and the hero build is also incredible. The Popshot, as I said before, is available all throughout Frost Night, so get it while you can before it rotates out of the shop. And if you want to see me make more weapon loadouts like this, let me know down in the comments below. I want to give a big shout out to my buddy PETA TV for letting me use his idea as well. I just tweaked it a little bit to fit my playstyle. Other than that, if you guys like my content, why not leave a like? And if you guys want to get more updates regarding the game, why not drop a follow? Until then, as always, stay safe and game on.